Everybody, Aaron with Fleetistics, and today I'm going to be talking about personal locators. And I've got all three of the primary locators here. First of all, I have the InReach, which is from Garmin. I have the Spot device, which is from Globalstar. And I have one that I just learned about, which is called Zoleo. And there is no particular model name for this as far as I can see. So I want to talk about these three devices and kind of give you an idea of what I have found using these. And I've had the InReach for years. This was my primary for a long, long time. I then moved over and got the Spot device, predominantly because it has the full keyboard, which is really something that I do like. And it's got some other great features. And then I saw this online, the Zoleo, when I was researching other stuff. And I went and bought some service, and now I have it and have done some basic testing. I haven't tried it in the field yet, but I have put it in my vehicle, driven it around, tuned up the update rate and things like that. So I've got some initial feedback on this device. From a business perspective, all of these have some pros and cons, and that's really what I'm looking at and talking about today is from a business perspective. You know, if you have employees that are working out in the field, let's say oil and gas, and you are looking for a off-grid communicator, locator, tracker, something of that nature for safety and communication, and you're outside of cellular coverage, then these three devices give you some pretty decent options. As far as cost goes, the Zoleo is the least expensive piece of hardware. Obviously, it has no screen and some of the technology that goes into that. And then I believe the Spot is going to be the most expensive. And then InReach. And this is an older model InReach, so there may be some things about some of the newer ones that are much better, but this is what I have, so this is what I'm going to talk about. So let's talk about InReach. And InReach is been around a long time. It uses the Iridium satellite constellation, from what I understand, whereas Globalstar is a Globalstar satellite constellation, and then you have Zoleo, which uses Iridium as well. So these two use Iridium, and Spot uses Globalstar. So why does that matter? Well, you think of satellite coverage, and you think, well, you get coverage everywhere. And in fact, that's not always true, right? It depends on where the satellites are and whether or not they're geostationary or are they actually rotating and moving in their own orbit around the Earth, which prevents them from being stationary over a single spot. Because what happens is you transmit a signal up to the satellite. That satellite then pushes that signal back down to a ground station, and then from there it gets routed to a server, which then routes it to your account. So having a stationary satellite over your area or not over your area can have an impact on your coverage. With the Iridium, as the satellites are flying by, you may have coverage for a period of time, and then you may lose coverage as you're kind of in between satellites. So there are pros and cons to both methods. The other thing is that Globalstar, the Spot, is one-way communication, right? And when I say that, it transmits one time, and then there's nothing coming back from the satellites to confirm receipt of information. You can send a message, like a text message or location, through the satellite system, and then someone can go online and respond back to you, and it will come back to you. But with the Iridium constellation, what happens is you can send a message, like a packet of data, and then the satellite will respond and confirm that it was received. So the device itself knows a little bit more about the success of a delivery than what you potentially get with something on Globalstar. That can be a big deal. With Globalstar, if you happen to be operating in an area where, because the satellites are stationary for Globalstar, so they stay in the same spot as the Earth rotates, it's always in that same spot. If you happen to be in an area, let's say, way up in the Arctic or something like that, and you don't have a satellite over you, you may never get coverage, and you think because you have a satellite communicator that you're always going to get coverage. That is not true. And I'll post at least a link to some maps that you can take a look at to better understand what the constellations look like and what the coverage around the world looks like. So as you determine where you're going to be operating, you can decide whether or not the Globalstar device is better for you or the Iridium is better for you. And it's kind of a tough choice because this is a really nice device, but you may not have coverage in the exact spot that you may be operating. So you need to do a little bit of research to figure that out if you intend to work with Globalstar. I've had great success with Globalstar's device. We sell it in a couple different form factors, from asset tracking to vehicle tracking, as well as the handhelds. They have a very nice interface, and there's integration opportunities here, not only for us, but for customers as well. They have a configuration which allows for multiple devices to be used in the same account, so it has a business class interface. And then you have the InReach, which also has a business class interface, but boy, do I hate the software. When you're trying to load maps and things like that, and plan routes and things like that, I have just really just unhappy with the software. Now, it's popular, so it could be my hang up, but I deal in developing software, and I think Garmin can do a much better job with their software solution than what they do. The Spot Globalstar interface is much more modern. It's cleaner, it's sleeker, it's more intuitive, and I would give the Spot interface, the web portal, an A, and I would give Garmin's a C-. And for the size of a company like Garmin, they are way behind and not up to par for their products and technology in general. As far as Zoleo goes, there's an advantage to this and a disadvantage. Zoleo will work without anything else, right? But you have no keyboard. So what happens is you pair this with via Bluetooth with your phone and a mobile app on your phone. So you send a message here, it communicates with this via Bluetooth, and it transmits. So if you want to send a text message or some other basic information, you always have to have a phone with a mobile app. If you just want to use it for tracking, you can do that. You can operate the SOS from here. You can, there's a check-in button. You can check the battery with this. So functionality-wise, this is super simple, which is a benefit in and of itself. And you can just hang this on your pack. You can hang it on your belt, and you can walk, and you can have this thing updating, every 12 minutes if you want. If you're backpacking, once an hour, once every few hours, which you would set up through the mobile app before you head out. Most people, even in the backcountry, have their cell phones. So, if you turn it on, you apply your changes if you want, you type your messages, and then you send those messages, then, this is a solid form factor. Their interface is way behind. I get the feeling it's a newer company. I'm not sure about that, but it feels like a newer company. Looking at their online software, looking at the information that you get back through the mobile app, and quite honestly, I have been trying to get information from them about doing an integration into a different platform of ours, and I've gotten very, very little quality reply. It's either the person I'm communicating with isn't interested, doesn't know, or doesn't have the information that they tout that they have on their website for integrations. So I'm not sure what this deal is. I'm really at the point of just giving up on doing an integration with them. I think, as the company matures and integrations become more and more important, then better documentation, a better process, all of that type of thing may come into play. To talk about Garmin, you're really not going to be talking to anybody. They give you the good SDK, API documentation that you need. It's sufficient. It's been time tested. Developers have gone through it. You can get access to it. And the same with Spot. What you have with these two companies is developers that don't want to talk to you, so they have really good documentation that they know other developers can use to do the integrations. And you should be able to take either one of these devices and do an integration into your environment if that's something that you want to do. In summary, not to keep this video from getting way out of hand, if I had to choose a device for work, I would probably choose the Spot device. It's got good tracking, it's got good software, the integration documentation's there. You can interface with this in a mobile app. A newer model has Bluetooth, so you can do some of that mobile app stuff here, but you can hit a couple buttons. It's got good functionality, and it has map sharing, which Garmin does as well. But again, the device form factor, the web interface, the portal online, just is not attractive to me in comparison to this. The prices are about the same, which is great. This does have map navigation, which is nice. Garmin's kind of built on that. This is not going to help you navigate really from point A to point B like a Garmin would. And then for Zoleo, if I was doing personal backpacking, this is probably the one I'll be most interested in. But why do I need two services? Well, there's certain applications for this that it makes sense. The price point is really the one that's probably the most important here. This was $150 on Amazon. This will run about $350 to $450, I think, if I remember correctly. And then your monthly subscription service on this is $20, $35, or $50, and you've got to buy 3 months minimum. But then you can go into a warm state and have a reduced monthly if you're in between trips and things like that. So as a backpacker, which I do, this is a good consumer product. If you want strictly a man down, cost effective, yeah, but you're not going to integrate it with something else at this point. Hopefully they get that straightened out, because I'm really interested in being able to do that, and I'd love to help them through that process of learning how this can be applied in different industries. But right now they're just not there. So it really comes down to these two. And honestly, if you're going to get these for your business, you should buy both. You should try both for yourself and see how they go, and then decide for yourself which is going to be best for you. I'm sure there's a couple other products that are out there, but these are the ones that I found. Hopefully this has helped you a little bit in deciding what to do, what direction to go. And I'd love to hear your comments below and tell us all about it. And if you have an interest in a man-down solution, vehicle tracking, asset tracking, fleet dash cams, things like that, contact us at fleetistics.com, and we'll love to talk to you about those things. And hopefully we'll have made some progress on doing some integrations into our web portal with this content from the Spot device. Thank you, and have a great day.